Mr.
Cooley in there?
Here we go.
Cooley?
Call the meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item will be the moment of silence led by our Board Vice President, Mr. Jerry Denton.
As we begin this meeting, let us pause for a 60-second moment of silence to reflect, meditate, pray, or engage in other silent activity. Thank you.
Next item will be the Pledge of Allegiance led by our Board Clerk, Ms. Brandy Roulette.
Please stand.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item will be approval of the board meeting minutes from June 24th. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve?
A second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Abstain.
Sorry.
It's all right. Okay, next item is comments from the public. We do have one speaker this evening. It's Ms. Janice Danforth. She'll be speaking to a non-agenda item. Ms. Danforth, you will have 3 minutes, and Mr. Denton will keep the time, okay? And because it's non-agenda, we are unable to communicate back with you, okay? Thank you.
All right, make sure this works. Whoa. Okay. Let me go down. I feel like I'm going to be like this. I'm too short. All right, I'll try my best to just stand on my tippies. Okay. Good evening. My name is Janice Danforth, and I'm the chapter chair of Moms for Liberty, Tulsa County. I'm here because I have a concern regarding the addition of a partnership that Broken Arrow has made with Grand Mental Health. We continue to see districts moving further and further away from the focus of academics and closer to topics that are anything but. And with this shift, we also see a decline in literacy rates and proficiency scores. In this partnership, mental/behavioral health is becoming a focus literally right in the classroom for the pre-K children, and these staff members will be trained in a social-emotional learning curriculum called Conscious Discipline. A book came out this year by Abigail Schreier titled Bad Therapy: Why the Kids Aren't Growing Up. She dissects the damage regarding mental health and therapy on our kids in America. In fact, as she states, any intervention potent enough to cure is also powerful enough to hurt. Iatrogenesis is a phenomenon of a healer harming a patient in the course of treatment. How can you, as a district, guarantee harm won't occur to these young children? The answer is you can't. And because of that, you as a district are putting very young children at risk, all in the name of empathy. Teachers are being asked, who are not mental health experts, to be mental health experts. You're asking them to teach mental health curriculum, which is what SEL is, and now you're introducing mental health staff into your schools. Is there truly any wonder as to why our youth are having the worst mental health crisis in history? Have any of you stopped to think that maybe, just maybe, it's because mental health therapy is being shoved down their throats on a regular basis, and they're being taught that how they feel trumps everything else? The public education system is literally creating narcissistic, anxiety-ridden children. This problem that you're trying to solve is not getting better no matter how much therapy you add, because if it were, you wouldn't be adding more therapy, and SEL would work. Yet we all know the problems are getting worse, not better. Another concern is how much this partnership is screaming community schools. Community schools are a socialistic, communistic model which stems from a government program called Whole School, Whole Community, Whole Child. This model allows the government to insert itself between the parent and the child. A community school interferes with the parent-child relationship because it assumes that the child can make decisions without the parent and erases the parent by allowing the school to be the one that directs what a child needs. In this case, your employee even boasted that the child can get help and the parent doesn't need to be there. She said, and I quote, they, parents, can drop their child off for school in the morning, and then those services, therapy, can be offered to the students during the school day. It's been a total win-win because the parent does not have to get off work to take the child. This is not a win-win. This is a
20
removal
seconds.
of the role of the parent. That is a lose-lose. We want the parents involved, not pushed to the side for convenience sake. Did you say my time was up? Oh. As parents and advocates for children, we boldly ask that you look more into this partnership you've created as well as a community school model so you understand the dangers of it. We want our children to be taught the basics, reading, writing,
Time.
and arithmetic. We desire
Time.
the school system to stay on the topics of academics and stop trying to
Ma'am,
educate the whole
time.
child.
Sorry.
Yep.
Okay. Anyways, I'll be also sending an email and talk to you guys more about this and what I discussed today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is a general consent item 7 through 48. Any discussion?
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Motion second, please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item 49. Ms. Murphy,
Good evening.
welcome to
I
your
know,
first
welcome.
presentation.
Yay! I'm so excited. Now if I can just keep all the numbers straight, right?
Right.
Activity fund reports for June 30th. The receipts total $5,823,000. Disbursements $6,252,000 with an ending cash balance of $5,330,000. Any questions about activity funds?
No.
Treasurer's report as of June 30th. Cash balance report reflects a total of $140,211,000. Investment ledgers show the district investments of $96,110,000. The collateral report shows a total of $14,883,000 in collateral pledges to Broken Arrow Public Schools. Total deposits requiring collateral are $11,859,000, leaving an available balance of collateral in the amount of $3,024,000. Any questions about the treasurer's report?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item 51. Good evening.
Good evening. Tonight I have the encumbrance reports for the date range of July 1st through July 11th, 2024, and it reflects encumbrances of $3,847,462.86 and recommend your approval on these encumbrances.
Questions? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Green.
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Motion second, please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes, thank you. Next item, Ms. Eniff.
Good evening, President Allen, members of the board. Financials through the end of June 30th, 2024, completed the 23-24 school year. So you can see the marked increase in our state aid collection from the required legislative certified pay raises and the additional operational dollars that went into our state aid calculation for the 23-24 school year. Early indications project that our initial factor for the 24-25 school year will be based on a modest $2.25 increase in the hopes that at midterm, we'll see more along the lines of a $24 to $25 per pupil increase. Those are the initial projections from COSA at this point, and typically those initial calculations are released sometime to us mid-July. But we all know what really counts is our final October certified numbers, so we use those numbers just as a basis for budgeting, for getting our budget approved later this fall, and then we'll adjust accordingly in January. Ad valorem collections continue to be strong for us. We typically grow 6 to 7% in this category per year and collect at a very high collection rate of 95 to 97%. We are expecting our county valuations probably by the end of this month, and that'll set our bonding capacity for the next year, as well as what we can expect to collect in this category of revenue. Looking at building fund, again, ad valorem is the main driver of this fund, which typically covers our insurance, our maintenance, and utility expenses. And child nutrition is starting to even out as we've transitioned from COVID times to universal free to now back on paid lunches and moving forward with federal and local collections.
Ms. Enif, how does this compare? Maybe the dollars are more from the child nutrition. I know it was really skewed when the federal government was paying for everything, but how does this compare to where we were before? Is it close to what we were before pre-COVID?
It is, and in fact, our local participation has increased due to some programming changes that Ms. McNally has put in place and some different offering that the kids are really seeming to take to. So our local sources have rebounded from pre-pandemic level, and federal sources are up a little bit too, just because of the reimbursement amount increasing for the district. And just as a reminder, we did increase to over 50% in free and reduced this past year, and so that is also helping our federal collections.
What is that percentage of free and reduced?
I believe it's at 53%.
Thank you.
General fund salaries and benefits drive the expenditures from this fund, and we talk a lot about how much of the general fund budget that absorbs, leaving very little for operational costs, for supplies, materials, all of the other things that go into running a district of our size of $180 million budget and growing. Building fund obviously covers the utilities, the fixed costs, the insurance, the maintenance, and other aspects of the operational component of the district. And child nutrition, just as a reminder, we do segregate all child nutrition personnel, food expenses, supplies to this particular fund, so it is completely segregated from our general fund. And looking ahead to begin the 24-25 school year, we're in the process of finalizing our 23-24 data, which will give us our final ending fund balance, our lapsed POs that we're taking into the next year that we do expect to be paid, and that'll start our estimate of needs audit, our financial audit, and all of the other financial reporting that we use to close out the 23-24 school year.
Ms. Enif, you earlier just said something about child nutrition. Are their salaries coming out of building fund?
No, child nutrition is paying for
Out of their own?
Yes.
What's the amount of salaries that come out of building fund?
It is about 1.5 million, and that's not the totality of our building fund personnel. We code a small portion of our maintenance and custodial expenses to building fund, and the rest go to our general fund.
About 1.5 is what of salaries that comes out of their total.
Correct.
How many employees are under the salaries of the general fund? Do you know roughly?
Well, we have a total of 2,500 employees for the entire district. Child nutrition probably is maybe a tenth of that, and building fund is probably even less than that. So the majority of salaries and benefits are coming directly out of our general fund. I just thought it was important to distinguish the fact that in other districts, they may choose to pay all their child nutrition expenses out of general fund, and we choose to segregate it.
They're kind of self-sufficient, right, with what they're doing?
That is correct.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Enoff. Next item, Mr. Leach.
Good evening. Tonight, I recommend for your approval contracts for the Memorial Stadium bleacher upgrade to the lowest responsible bidders, and to assign such construction contracts to Magnum Construction, and to approve or disapprove the amendment to the construction management contract, establishing a new guaranteed maximum price in the amount of $396,819, and to authorize the Director of Construction Services to approve or disapprove changes to the trade contracts within the GMP. All bidding was conducted pursuant to the Oklahoma Competitive Bidding Act, and this will be paid for with bond funds.
Estimated time of completion?
That's what I was just getting ready to ask.
First of the year, sir,
Okay.
due to the long lead times
So not in
with
August,
the bleacher
huh?
company.
All right.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Motion and second, please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Leach. Next item, Mr. Stecker.
Good evening, everyone. I bring back board policy for the second read and ask for your approval for multiple revised policies and the adoption of 2 new policies. Once again, legal has reviewed all these.
Any questions?
No.
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Motion and second, please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes, thank you. Next item, Ms. Powell.
Good evening, President Allen and members of the board. In May, Governor Stitt signed and approved House Bill 3386, altering the process for intra-district or in-district transfers. And this law took effect on July 1. Transfer requests can now be made at any time during the school year. In the past, there's been a window for them to do that, and there was local control on approval and denial of those requests. Per House Bill 3386, those intra-district transfers will now be approved or denied based on capacity, attendance, and/or discipline records. So I am recommending for your approval the deletion of policy 4170 to align with the new state requirements, as it is no longer applicable due to the changes introduced in House Bill 3386. And I'm also requesting the approval for the revised version of policy 4400 to ensure compliance with the new state law. Currently, policy 4400 just addresses open transfers. The revised version incorporates the open transfers and the intra-district transfers to ensure that we are in compliance with the new state law.
And legal has looked at this one also?
Yes.
Or these?
Yes.
So who has the final say on a transfer?
So it's basically just like an open transfer now. So if there is no capacity, then it's denied. If there are attendance or discipline issues in their records, it's denied. There is not an appeal process for an inter-district transfer like there is for an open transfer, because families have the opportunity to attend one of our other schools.
So if you have someone that comes in from out of the district and we deny them, they can appeal to the state?
So open transfers that are out of district, they can appeal to our local board. And if the local board upholds that decision, then the parent has the option to go appeal at the state level.
So basically, the ultimate decision will be at state level, not the local level.
Well, for open transfers,
Right.
for the in-district transfers, it stops
Here,
with us.
interesting.
And the definition of capacity, I know that seems trivial, but how is that defined?
There's a specific formula that Mr. Bowser works on every quarter to ensure that we are in compliance with that state law. And now we will have to use those capacities with our in-district transfers as well. So at the enrollment office, we're having to make sure, because you have to process those as they're received. So I have a registrar that's in charge of our in-district, I have a registrar that's in charge of our out-of-district, and they're working together to make sure, because now we have to take both kinds of transfers and decide based on their timestamp who was first.
Okay.
Do you have to publish those or report those to the state?
Every quarter.
So what is the difference between the new formula for figuring capacity and what we are generally wanting for our classrooms?
It's the same, I believe, in the formula hasn't changed, but the number has changed on the class sizes. So I think pre-K at one time was at 18 and now it's at 16, just to protect those class sizes. And then I think maybe the elementary classrooms were at 20 and now they're at 18. It's in the revised policy. Yeah, it's 16 for pre-K, 20 for kindergarten through 5th, and 25 for 6th through 12.
I was glad that it's not going the other way.
Right, yes, absolutely. And Mr. Bowser and I actually discussed that when we were looking over the new law and ensured that we protected that.
Good.
Any other questions?
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Got a motion and hold on, Ms. Powell, don't leave. Got a motion and a second, please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Ms. Powell, were you in charge of that enrollment on the road?
Yes.
Just want to say thank you very much. That's outstanding.
Oh,
We
thank
appreciate you.
thank you.
That was exciting to see, and just what you're doing to help our students, those that maybe not as fortunate to be able to get down and do that. And hopefully one day we can find us a local sponsor to get you a bus that you can drive around to
We would
do
love
that out of
that.
a bus. So
We
hopefully
would
can
love that.
work on that. But we appreciate you doing that.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
And just a coattail on that, I had the great honor of witnessing that, and such an incredible team. I know you put it together, but it was an entire fleet of
Yes, it
people
was.
just working to make that successful, and it was beautifully executed and just flawless. The people and the kids, that worked well. And honestly, hats off to our partners that showed up. I know Walmart and I'm going to kill the people's names. I know.
Metro Merch.
Metro
yes.
Merch, and even the Indian, Cane's Chicken. That was a sweet deal. But and just even the different groups that showed up out there. I know our Native American team was out there as well too, and so again, hats off to that team. It was a remarkable job. So, thanks for making us look so great.
Thank you all for supporting us.
Yeah, always. And we probably won't see it on Channel 8 or Channel 6 or Channel 2, but just know your board appreciates that. We're very thankful to have you and what your team's doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all.
Yeah, thank you. Next item, new business. We have none. Next item is to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion and second, please call the roll.
Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes, thank you.